I didn't like The Acolyte very much. I thought the story was weak, the writing was miserable, the characters were tolerable at best and straight up unlikable at worst. But there's already plenty of people on this platform spreading negativity about the show, and while I do feel like a lot of that negativity is justified, the majority of the negativity surrounding this show is coming from a place of fear, anger, and hate, instead of being actual legitimate constructive criticism. Because, yeah, this show isn't very good, but I don't think it's the dumpster fire these butthurt Star Wars bros are making it out to be, because there were some genuinely good things about this show. Emphasis on the word some there. And as a butthurt Star Wars bro myself, today, instead of weeping, wailing, and gnashing my teeth about how awful and terrible The Acolyte was, I'm gonna talk about the strengths I thought the show had in 4 different categories: the combat, the character and set design, the score, and the villain. So let's get to it. The combat. I thought the combat in this show was very well choreographed, very flashy and fun, and very violent, which is always a good thing in my book. It felt like a beautiful blend of prequel trilogy choreography mixed in with some sweet Matrix-esque martial arts action, which I actually thought was a very welcome and appropriate style of combat, given that this takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace. Yeah, this seems like how a Jedi would fight back in the day. Never actually had this flavor before. It's pretty cool. I think this show delivered some of the best lightsaber fights Disney Star Wars has given us ever, and well, I guess that's not a super high bar to surpass, with the exception of the Maul versus Ahsoka fight in the Clone Wars Season 7. Dear gosh, that duel is sweet. But The Acolyte has a few sweet duels too. I hate it when Disney Star Wars chickens out on the violence, and this show did not chicken out on the violence. If anything, it leaned into it. I think it's the most violent Star Wars show yet, of all time. Disney or no Disney, to be frank, and I'm here for it. Lightsabers naturally lend themselves towards violent scenes because they're literally laser-hot destruction beams of death in sword form. And we need more dismemberment. We need more head chops. We need more of the Force being used as a weapon instead of just a weird Harry Potter spell. We need more people dying due to lightsaber-sustained injuries. We need more environments getting destroyed by the lightsabers while the fight is going on. Lightsabers are really cool and dangerous. And everyone making Star Wars has forgotten that for some reason. But finally, The Acolyte took advantage of how cool lightsabers are and how cool the Force is as a weapon. It made me feel like I was watching the Clone Wars again. I will say one thing that let me down about the combat was that this woman didn't use her knives as like cool Force boomerang weapon thingies. She could have been going like, I don't know, that could have been cool, like throw the knife, have it stab someone, and then Force pull it back, kind of like Thor's hammer, but cooler and more agile. I mean, that could have been really sweet. They sort of led me on after she killed Master Trinity and she pulled it out of the ground with the Force. I thought they might have been teasing that she was gonna throw the knives, but maybe I'm imagining things. Anyways, my point is, this show had some great, very entertaining, very exciting, very well choreographed fight scenes, but unfortunately, there are only like 5 or 6 considerably lengthy fight scenes in the whole 8-episode show. Maybe even less. I don't know. I didn't keep tally. So more cool fight scenes like this in the future, please. Thank you. The character design. I liked the character design in this show. Not the characters, the character design, as in how they looked. I really think they nailed that 100 years before the Phantom Menace look. The costume and makeup department really smashed it out of the park on this one. The Jedi all looked super cool in their golden little High Republic robes. The witch ladies were neat to look at in their cool witchy robes, and the characters in the show looked like they belonged in Star Wars, which can't be said about all the Disney Star Wars TV shows. Have you seen Obi-Wan Kenobi? Why does the Grand Inquisitor look like that? He should look like that. Have you seen the Book of Boba Fett? What are these guys doing? Why are their scooters like straight out of Back to the Future? I don't know. Anyways, the Acolyte nailed the visual style, and this is sort of adjacent to character design because characters stand on it, in it, and around it, but I thought the set design in this show was pretty superb as well, for the most part. That Force set was a little dumb. But the ships looked sweet inside and out. The Jedi Temple looked sweet inside and out. The Stranger looked cool, clothed and naked. Wait, what? Hey Disney, what's the deal with dark side thirst traps, huh? You trying to convert ladies and other so inclined individuals to the dark side? Because it's working. The score, as in the show's original music. Speaking of The Stranger, or as all the internet funny guys are calling him, Smilo Ren, this show's score could not stop bringing up the Kylo Ren theme. Like, every time this guy was on screen and said anything remotely cool, the score was like, you know, like the Kylo Ren theme from those sequel trilogy movies that everyone loved so much. But like, the show's plot never took it anywhere. They kept dropping the Kylo Ren theme, but then, I mean, I guess his helmet kind of looks like the helmets of the Knights of Ren wear. I could see the connection, but why bother to keep bringing up the Kylo Ren motif if you're never gonna directly connect the Stranger to the Knights of Ren? I don't know. Seemed like a missed opportunity. Could have had a cool Knights of Ren origin story in The Acolyte. That just, Disney doesn't know what the they're doing with Star Wars, man. But barring the weird inclusion of the Kylo Ren theme, I thought the score for the Acolyte was actually very tastefully done. It sounded like a Star Wars score, which seems like a bare minimum, but that can't be said for all Star Wars show scores. Have you heard the Obi-Wan show score? It sucks. All you had to do for that show was combine some themes from A New Hope, some themes from Revenge of the Sith, maybe a new arrangement of Duel of the Fates, and then sprinkle in a few motifs here and there for the new characters. But did they do that? Sort of. A little bit. It was never on the nose enough to strike any real nostalgia nerve, which is a shame because Obi-Wan's score could have hit all those nostalgia nerves from a musical standpoint, but they didn't. That's lame. Anyways, the Acolyte's score very much seemed like a stylistic homage to the John Williams scores. I said John Williams? To the John Williams scores that we all know and love and associate with Star Wars. Kind of like what Michael Giacchino did for the Rogue One score, but to a lesser extent in the Acolyte. The score was nice to hear, and it really put me in that Star Wars headspace. You know what didn't put me in that Star Wars headspace? Victoria Monet's The Power of Two. Nothing against Victoria Monet. She's a great singer-songwriter, or however she's involved in the production of her music. But man, why? Why did they hire her to write a pop song for Star Wars? I will never know. The villain in this show was so good, man. He was so cool. Quamir, the stranger, Smilo Ren, the only remotely interesting character in this show. He goes by many names, but I thought Manny Jacinto nailed this role. He was super cool and a little bit spooky, and I loved the introduction of Cortosis into Disney's canon that came along with his character and his armor. It seemed like a respectful little nod to us Legends enjoyers, and I am positive that no one would mind if Disney Star Wars starts leaning harder into that Legends material, because it's mostly quite good. Disney should be adapting Legends books into live action and improving upon them to make them work super well as shows and movies, and I think how cool Cortosis' inclusion in this show was just goes to prove that Legends stuff is quality source material and can be adapted onto the big screen and remain pretty cool. Come on, Disney. Get your Star Wars together. You have no excuse. It's the coolest, most popular franchise in the world. Shake off your mistakes and press forward. There's so much good source material to pull from. You guys don't even have to try over there. Come on. Anyway, villain was cool. Carried the whole show. Every scene he was in, I was like, yes. And then the scenes he wasn't in, I was like, when is the bad guy gonna show up again? I am bored. Anyways, there's all the things I liked about The Acolyte. It was a show with every excuse to be good. It had the budget, it had good actors, it had all the right cards in its hand to win, but the creators and writers of this show played those cards very poorly, and as a result, the show just wasn't very good. That's what I think, though. If you really liked it, I'm not here to get in your way, man. That's great. I thought it had some strengths, certainly. And that's why I made this video. The Acolyte wasn't complete and total garbage because there was some pretty sweet stuff within. And I think if you get a talented editor to cut all these episodes down to like a tight 140-minute movie that doesn't treat itself like a parody of a murder mystery, I think The Acolyte would be a lot more well received. There is light in the darkness, and I am positive that in 5 or 10 years here, Disney Star Wars will turn around and start giving fans what they want. Super good, unadulterated Star Wars. But I mean, I'm not putting any money on it. And did you hear? They're gonna make Darth Plagueis a furry! Oh no! How's it hanging, ladies and gents? Post-production Ben here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any hot takes about The Acolyte, or you just want to bully people for their opinions on something as unimportant as a sci-fi television show, visit the comment sections below. I bet there'll be some great stuff for you down there. Remember, no slurs, kids. Now, go smash like and destroy that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of my Darth Plagueis furry fanfiction. Have a great day.